Hi everyone, so today I'm going to show you how to make a little mushroom. So I've got a few different ones here. I've got slightly different shaped tops, so it's entirely up to you how you do the top. If you've bought one of my kits, you will have this template in it, and you can see I've got a shape here, but you don't have to stick to that shape for the mushroom. It's entirely up to you. So in your kit you'll have some red wool and you'll have some white wool, and I'm not using any core wool this time. Excuse me, I'm just going to make the stalk out of the white wool. So I'm going to start with making the stalk. So I'm just going to pull some of the white wool off, make sure there's no bits of matter in it, and I'm going to roll it up. So I've probably got a bit too much there. So your kit will include a needle, so it will be a green tipped needle. So that's what I'm using here. And we're just going to keep stabbing all over. I shall be leaving one end loose because that'll be what we use to attach it to the cap of the mushroom. So this takes a few minutes. You just got to keep on stabbing, and as I've said before, it's just the ends of the needles that you're getting in. You don't have to force it in, just nice and gentle, and keep moving your item that you're stabbing, because if you stab all in one place you're just going to stab it flat. So now I'm going to stab the end. It's quite coarse, this white wool, and I think that's something to do with the bleaching process, because obviously there aren't any sheep out there that are this white. So we just keep going. It's going to take a few minutes. So it's entirely up to you as well how flat you want this bottom, so you can have it more rounded. Sorry about that, I had to pause it slightly because my other half decided to come in. So as we were saying, we're just stabbing this end, so you can have it flat or you can have it slightly rounded. It's entirely up to you. I suppose it depends on what you want to do with the mushrooms after you've made them. Just keep going and refining that until you've sort of got the shape that you want. There will be enough wool in one of my kits to make a few mushrooms. So you can make one large mushroom, you can make 2 or 3 smaller mushrooms. It's entirely up to you. Right, so with this end, I'm going to sort of splay it out slightly and just give it a few little light stabs. I'll take off, I've got a black hair there, so I'll just take that off. Right, and of course you can roll it in your hands. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I roll things in my hands quite a bit. It just refines the finish and gives it a little bit neater finish and helps you form the shape. So I always make my mushrooms a little bit more tapered towards the top of the mushroom. So that means just doing a few more stabs going all the way around just to bring that in a little bit more in comparison to the rest of the stalk. Sorry, I try and keep my fingers out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. So put that to one side. I'm just going to take a little bit more of the white. So again, I'm using the white instead of Cornwall, and I'm just going to form a little cap for the mushroom. So I've just sort of scrunched it up into a shape. So this doesn't have to be perfect because we will be covering this with red wool. So again, the shape can be whatever you decide you want your mushroom shape to be. You can follow the template that's in my kit, or you can make it up yourself. So just going to give that a few light stabs. See what sort of shape I'm forming there. I think that'll do. And I'm just going to put that on now. So what you can do if you've got any spare needles is you can just use some spare needles to keep that in place whilst you're working on it. Oops, stay it. Look what that's coming like. So it's not even, but I don't think it really matters because not many mushrooms are that even. Keeps picking up little fibres from my mat, which is a bit of a pain, but unfortunately that's something you have to get used to with needle felting. I do have one mat that I use just specifically for doing black, because that's one of the most awkward things if I was making something just really black and it gets stuck onto everything. Okay, so that will do for now. Now we're going to take some of the red and we're just going to start forming our little mushroom shape. So again, it depends on what sort of shape you want. So I think that'll do for me. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. We're just adding it to the top and forming the shape. Keep moving around. And we're just going to build up our mushroom shape. Obviously I'm going to take some more red in a minute and fill this in. So I'm just concentrating at the moment on making the shape that I fancy for this particular mushroom. Take a bit more red. Get off. There we go. I'm just tucking the bottom in as I'm doing it just to make it neat. Again, short light stabs just into the top of the wool will keep it looking neater. And we just keep going all the way around until we've covered any bits of white that we don't want showing. Bits of white there still to cover. Now I'm just refining my shape and finishing off, making it look nice and neat. So this may take a few minutes, so probably what I'm going to do here is just pause the video and then start it again when we're putting the spots on, because I think from that you can see roughly what we're doing, making the mushroom shape, but I just want to make it a bit neater. Right, so I spent a bit of time refining the shape, so I've gone for sort of like a conical one this time. And what I did was spend a bit of time stabbing down here at the base of the stalk, which just makes it look more like a cap of a mushroom, like it's hanging over. And of course use the hands. So I quite like that shape. It's a bit different and it's not even all the way around, but I like that. And what I've done is I've made some little white round dots, which I'm going to use as the little spots on the mushroom. So it's just a case of taking a bit of wool, rolling it in your finger and thumb to form in some spots. And then we just go around and we pop them on. So I tend to stab towards the middle, and then that helps keep it in place, and then just stab all the way around the edge and keeping it as neat as possible. And not stabbing too hard again, because otherwise you might make an indent on your mushroom, depending on how solid you've made it. And of course these don't need to be even. You can have big spots, little spots. It's entirely up to you. And I'm just randomly putting them on. Oops, that one didn't want to stay. There we go. And just keep going until you've got on as many as you want. Try to make them as random as possible, because otherwise they all look like they're in a line and that makes it look a little bit odd. So I think that'll do for the purpose of this video. And again, just finishing it off with your hands. Just make sure they're nice and flat. That's it. There we go, another mushroom to my collection. So you can make them whatever sort of shapes you fancy. Hope you enjoy having a go. See you again soon.